Okay, let's do it. In my last video, I went over Audi's Quattro system, how it's changed, and the different types that it has. So let's go over how BMW has changed their Xdrive over the years. Now there's a lot I'm not going to be able to cover. I'm going to try and hit the basics, and I'm going to start with 2003. You can consider this the early Xdrive, where they introduced it into the X models. This was in the X3 and X5 and later got added to the 3, 5, and 7 series later. This generation of Xdrive starts in 2003 and ends in 2010. Under normal driving conditions, it has the same torque split as Audi's Torsen with 40% in the front and 60% in the rear. But there is some differences as Audi's is mechanical and BMW's is electronic. Now, purely based on traction capability, Xdrive wins in this case. This version of Xdrive was able to send 100% of power either way. And that's just because it was electronic and not mechanical like Audi. But because Audi is mechanical, it did feel better under sporty driving. It felt a little more planted in the corners. And it was very predictable. But Xdrive was more versatile. Now, BMW was refining this all-wheel drive system over time. BMW's Xdrive was linked with its DSC, or Dynamic Stability Control. This would allow it to stop one wheel from spinning completely by using the brakes while giving power to all the other 3 wheels if needed. Something that the Audi was never able to do. From around 2010 to 2015 is when they really started upgrading its performance, tying it more closely with its dynamic stability control and just making it react quicker. And overall, a more smoother and seamless process. Now, BMW also started making a Haldex-like Xdrive system where it was front-wheel drive bias as well. This was also limited to a 50-50 torque split. The thing is that Audi's been doing front-wheel drive bias all-wheel drive systems for a lot longer than BMW has. They were already doing it for 17 years by the time BMW came out with their own. A lot of people call this version of Xdrive glorified all-wheel drive. The difference, though, is that Xdrive in this generation was more of a safety net, whereas the Audi models would actually preemptively engage the rear more as you would launch it or have hard throttle. Xdrive was purely reactive at the time and would wait for you to slip first. And to be fair, Audi's system was pretty much the same. It would just sometimes preemptively engage the rear, unlike Xdrive. Now in 2017 is when BMW made their Xdrive system a lot funner than the Audis, excluding maybe the new RS3. This is when they came out with something called M Xdrive. Under normal conditions, it's still 40 torque in the front and 60 in the rear. When you put it in sport, it would automatically send more torque to the rear. And then you had the option to make it rear-wheel drive only. I think BMW just knew that their drivers love to drift. If not already obvious, this was used in the M cars, M3, M4, M5. Now this new